Information has increased in value. Information has value to somebody. It is valuable information that can be used in various ways. Information can also be a liability. The financial liability of ungoverned organizational information is mounting. The time wasted in necessary information, the cost of hardware for storing and backup redundant, outdated and trivial information, and the lack of effective knowledge management all have an impact on profitability. The demand for information is high due to the high digitalization of info and increasing bandwidth, declining cost of digital communication, increased miniaturization, portable computers, other communication equipment, great public awareness. The danger of misuse is real. It means that the data is not used the way it's initially intended to be used. Misuse of information is typically governed by laws and or corporate cybersecurity policies. Anonymity. It is the absence of identity. There are three types of identity. Pseudo, which is to know by pseudonym. Number 2, untraceable, where there is no name association. Number 3, anonymity without pseudo address. No name association, address association, anonymity on the internet, anonymity servers, anonymity users. There is no 100% anonymous on the internet. Even when you use incognito mode in Google, the internet provider can still see what you're doing.
Hi everyone, my name is Jan Residio Matera. Today I can discuss page 4.2.2 and 4.3. It's about advantages and disadvantages of anonymity and security. Before to proceed to the main topic, what is anonymity? Anonymity is the word noun which means the condition is not being known or the condition of being anonymous. Or sa Tagalog is pagkawala ng banda. Anonymity describes a situation where the acting person's identity is unknown. Some writers have argued the nameless is true technically correct, does not capture what is the more centrally at stake at context of anonymity. The important idea here is the person non-untraceable, unreachable, or attractable. Anonymity is seen as a technique or a way realizing a certain that other values such as privacy or liberty. An important example of anonymity as being not only protected but enforced by law is the vote pre-election in many other situations, like conversation between strangers, buying some product, or cybersing in a shop. Anonymity is traditionally accepted as natural. There are also various situations in which one person might choose to withhold their identity. Acts of charity have been performed anonymous when benefactors do not wish to be acknowledged. This example of anonymity. Example to how to ensure anonymity personally identifying information includes but is not limited to names, address, email address, phone numbers, government issue ID, social security numbers, photographs, and IP address. Let's proceed to the two topics. This is advantages and disadvantages of anonymity. We consider some of these here starting with advantages. Number 1, advantages. Anonymity is approved when the whistleblower used to check unhealthy activities within the organization. Although whistleblowers are controversial, they are recorded in a number of cases, especially when abuse of office and resources. Whistleblowers expose information or activity within a private, public, or government organization that deem illegally immoral, illicit, unsafe, fraud, or abuse of taxpayer funds. Here example of whistleblower. Whistleblower includes employees who report corruption, discrimination, harassment, and fraud. Example of whistleblower cases cover considerable territory, from accounting irregularities in government fraud to racial discrimination and sexual harassment. The benefits of whistleblowing is to protect your company. It minimizes risk and cost. It prevents wrongdoing. It provides more detailed insight into issue. It drives better communication and trust. Number 2, advantages of anonymity. Is good the cases of national security so that underground space can be gathered information. That is good for national defense. A securing general welfare is actually written in a constitution, whereas a privacy is only dependent in amendment. National security should be prioritized over any concern for personal privacy. Better intelligence and security measure will help prevent the loss of life. Number 3, advantages. Nowadays, many benefits and advantages can be found online. One of the most important advantages of anonymity is the power that it brings to users that want to share their opinions, which the world without having the fear of others do not share the same opinions. Another important advantages of online anonymity is the fact that people can express themselves without being embraced by others in the real world. Many people usually use internet to look for advice and information about topics that they will not comment without anonymity. They tend to interact more than when they feel secure and fully anonymous. Number 4, advantages. Personal safety. With online anonymity, users won't have worry too much about their personal safety being compromised as a result of whatever it is they may be doing online. For example, a user can do whatever they want to without other finding out where he or she lives in a perceiving inflicting physical injury. Number 5, advantages. Anonymity is good for some relationships and the security of some people. The anonymity's everyday life enables people to be free to do many worthwhile things without feeling inhibited. The loss of anonymity might make many people more civil in their speeches and more circumspect in their action. That good things, but it might also kill a lot of valuable expression. I finished discussing advantages, so let's proceed to the disadvantages. Disadvantages of anonymity. Criminals and embezzlers can use their advantages, especially in online social networks. Ano nga ba ang embezzlement? Embezzlement refers to the form of white-collar crime in which a person or entity misappropriates the asset entrusted to them. In this type of fraud, the embezzlers obtain asset lawfully and has the right to oppose them asset and their use to unintended purposes. Many disputes can be solved if information for individuals who are party to this dispute can reveal the necessary information. The way to resolve the conflict of dispute is to communicate. Open communication is the key. In dispute, active listen. Listen to what other person has to say without interrupting. Review options. Talk over other options. Looking for solution that benefits everyone. Another important disadvantages of anonymity online is the fact that people are using it to commit financial scams and try to get money from others. Everyone must be verified carefully to use their personal information even when they have nothing to hide. And the point is that there are a lot of people waiting to thrive online information and use to harmful way against us. It is very simple to abuse from anonymity without taking any responsibility. That is why the user the internet have to decide if the benefits of anonymity overcome the risk. In general, security can be considered a means to prevent authorized access, use, alternation, and then the physical damage to property. The quality or state of being secure, such as freedom of danger and safety, freedom for fear or anxiety, freedom for fear for prospect of being laid off job security. Security involves 3 elements. The first one is confidentiality. It's to prevent authorized disclosure of information to third parties. This is important to a number of areas including the disclosure of personal information such as medical, financial, academic, and criminal records. For example of confidentiality can be found in various access control methods like two-factor authentication, passwordless, sign-on, and other access controls, but it's not just about getting authorized user and also about keeping certain files inaccessible. Something it's as simple as a read-only file. Number 2 elements of security is integrity. It is to prevent authorized modification of files of maintain the statute. It includes system information and personal integrity. The alternation of information can be caused by desire for personal gain or needs for revenge. Example of integrity is the protection of system data from international or accidental authorized change. Example of government system in which integrity is crucial include air traffic control system, military fire control system, social security, and welfare system. Number 3 elements of security is availability. It is to prevent unauthorized withholding of information from those who needs it as they needs it. We discussed two types of security. Physical security, which involve the prevention of access to physical facilities such as computer system, and information security, which involves prevention of access to information by encryption, authentication, and other means. Example of attack on ability include denial of service attacks, ransomware, which encrypts system data and files, so they are not accessible to legitimate user, even swatting attack, which can interrupt business operation.
Good day everyone, my name is Glorylyn Biasorto, BSISD 2021, and we're going to tackle physical security. Physical security is the protection of personal, hardware, software, network, and data from physical action and event that could cause serious loss or damage to an enterprise, agency, or institution. This includes protection from fire, flood, natural disaster, burglary, theft, vandalism, and terrorism. Physical security is guaranteed by deterrence, prevention, detection, and incident. Deterrence is the act or process of deterring, such as the inhibition of criminal behavior by fear, especially of punishment. Prevention is an incident requires careful analysis and planning. Information is an asset that requires protection commensurate with its value. Security measures must be taken to protect information from unauthorized modification, distraction, or disclosure, whether accidental or intentional. Detection is the practice of analyzing the entirety of the security ecosystem to identify any malicious activity that could compromise the network. If a threat is detected, then mitigation effort must be enacted to properly utilize the threat before it can exploit any present vulnerabilities. Response to an incident is an organized approach to addressing and managing the aftermath of a security breach or cyber attack, also known as an IT incident, computer incident, or security incident. The goal is to handle the situation in any way that limits damage and reduce recovery time and cost. Physical access control are type of physical security designed to restrict or allow access to a certain area or building. Physical access control example of credential include fob and key card entry system, encrypted baggage, mobile credential, PIN codes, and passwords. Authentication the user or authenticating the user is the user or computer has to prove its identity to the server or client. Usually, authentication by the server entails the use of a username and password. Otherwise, to authenticate can be through cards, retina scans, voice recognition, and fingerprint. and information security controls, cryptography, and it is the study of secure communication techniques that allow only the sender and intended recipient of a message to view its content. Here, data is encrypted using a secret key, and then both the encoded message and secret key are sent to the recipient to decryption. And authentication is the process or action of verifying the identity of a user or process. The information security audits is a systematic, measurable, technical assessment of how the organization's security policy is employed. It's part of the ongoing process of defining and maintaining effective security policy. Operational is the security controls are those that supplement the security of an organization in a manner in which both physical and technical elements are utilized. Example of operational security controls include overarching security policy, acceptable use policy, security awareness training policy. Next, the privacy is the state of being free from public scrutiny or from having your secret or personal information shared. Next, the human value is a basic value refers to those values which are at the core of being human. It consists of right to control external influences. Next, the solitude, right to be alone. Anonymity, right to have no public identity. Intimacy, right to be monitored. And next is right to control personal information. Serve, right to control one's information. And that's it. I hope you learned. Thank you for listening. Once again, my name is Glorylyn Biasorto. Have a great day.
Good morning, everyone. I am Chris Paolo Bibo, BSIS A 2021. We will discuss the types of privacy and value of privacy. The first type of privacy is personal privacy. This type of privacy involves the privacy of personal attributes. The right to privacy of all personal attributes would mean the prevention of anyone or anything that would intrude or violate the personal space where those attributes are. This would include all types of intrusions, including physical searches, video recording, surveillance of any type, in number of countries, their status and act similar to US. For amendment, which guarantees the right of people to secure in their persons, houses, paper, and effect against unreasonable searches and seizures. The second type of privacy is information privacy. Information privacy is the privacy of personal information and usually related to personal data stored on computer system. The needs to maintain information privacy is applicable to collect personal information such as medical record, financial data, criminal records, political records, business-related information, or website data. Information data is also known as data privacy. There are different strands of information that we have to protect. First is personal information. Most personal information of value includes information on personal lifestyles such as religion, sexual orientation, political affiliation, or personal activities. The second is financial information. Financial information is important not only in the individuals but also to organization. Financial information is a very value asset because it gives to the organization the autonomy it needs to compete in the market. The third is medical information. Medical information is very personal and very important to all of us. For a personal, employee, and insurance purposes, many people want their medical information to be private. The last is the internet. In this age, the internet keeps track of all our activities online. With an increasing number of people spending an increasing number of time online social networks and digital convergence becoming a reality with every passing day. Not only with our social life be online, but soon all of our lives will be also. We want also activities and habit private. The last type of privacy is institution privacy. Institutions and organizations want their data private, not only the business advantage, but also for the life of the business. The research data, the sales and product data, the marketing strategies, and activities of all organizations all need to be private. Value of privacy. Privacy has traditionally been perceived as a valuable and even gained more importance in the information age because it guards an individual personal identity, preserves individual autonomy, and makes social relationship possible. However, these days, in the information age, the value of privacy has been eroded. We can no longer guarantee our privacy. It has left many wondering whether there's a thing as a privacy anymore. We consider three attributes of privacy are personal identity, autonomy, and social relationship. Personal identity, as information becomes more precious, it becomes more important for individuals to safeguard personal identity. Personal identity is valuable because it enshrines personal privacy. Unfortunately, with rapid advance in technology, especially computer technology, it has become increasingly difficult to protect personal identity. Autonomy. Humans need to feel that they are in control of their own destiny. They need their autonomy. The less personal information other people have about an individual, the more autonomous that individual can be, especially in decision making. However, other people will challenge one's autonomy, depending on the quantity, quality, and value of information they have about that individual. People usually tend to establish relationships and associations with individuals and groups that will respect their personal autonomy, especially in decision making. Social relationships. In some societies where marriages are arranged, parents on both sides try to collect as much information about each other as possible before they commit their offspring in marriage. In societies where there are no arranged marriage, the parties involved usually spend a period of time dating. The dating time is spent collecting as much information as possible about each other. The couple then use information to make the decision about marrying. However, each party may try to conceal some information because some seemingly valuable information may not be worthwhile and maybe even lead to breakup of the relationship. Information gathering. Information gathering is very serious business that is increasingly involve a growing number of players, which traditionally were governments gathering mostly defensive information on weapon systems. However, with globalization and in the internet, the door of information gathering field have been thrown open. Now individuals, companies and organizations, and of course government, are all competing. Sometimes for the same information, the tool of the trade have some improved tremendously, becoming more stately, much smaller, and of course more accurate. With more modern tools of gathering information, no one is safe anymore. Because of our habit online, internet crawlers are enacting visiting our machines stealthily and gathering a wealth of information.
Good day everyone, my name is Crystal Suela and I'm going to discuss about privacy violations. So what is privacy violations? Privacy violations and legal implications. Privacy, as we have defined it, is a basic human value that is at the core of human dignity and autonomy. Privacy violations also means stealing and manipulating of private information by a malicious attackers. For example, passwords, certificates, credit card details, social security numbers, addresses, mobile numbers, and email IDs. So it is believed that privacy forms the foundation of a free and democratic society. However, this fundamental right is violated every day in many ways. All the individual privacy right has been violated for years. The advent of the internet has accelerated the rate and scale of violations. So there are numerous contributing factors or causes of violations. Let us look at some here. First, consumers willingly give up information about themselves when they register at websites, at shopping malls to win prizes, in mailing solicitation. Second, consumers lack the knowledge and how what they consider a little bit of information can turn into a big invasion of privacy. Third, inadequate privacy policies. Fourth, failure of companies and institutions to follow their own privacy policies. The last, internet temptation as discussed in section 3.5.1.2 enable businesses to reach individuals in a very short time in the privacy of their homes and offices. So, because of the anticipated growth of the internet, there is a widespread agreement that privacy rights are under serious attack and that something has to be done. The measures that are needed to protect both the user and consumer need to be varied to include legislation like the U.S. Consumer Protection Act, enforcement, and self-help. Other privacy violations include intrusion, misuse of information, interception of information, and information matching. The first one is intrusion. Intrusion, wrongful entry, seizing, or acquiring. For example, hackers. Hackers are intruders because they wrongfully break into computer systems, whether they cause damage or not. With computer network globalization, intrusion is only second to viruses among computer crimes, and it is growing fast. The second one is misuse of information, selling of our information. So, for example, human beings continually give out information in exchange for services. Businesses and governments collect this information from us honestly to provide services effectively. The information collected, as discussed in section 5.4.3, it's not just collected only to be stored. This information is digital gold to these companies. They mine the gold from us and sell it into the highest bidder. There is nothing wrong with collecting personal information when it's going to be used for a legitimate reason, for the purpose of which it was intended. However, the problem arises when the information is used for unauthorized purposes. Collecting this information then becomes an invasion of privacy. Third one is interception of information or eavesdropping. Interception of information is unauthorized access to private information via eavesdropping, which occurs when a third party gains unauthorized access to private communication between two or more parties. Information can be gathered by eavesdropping in the following areas. For example, at the source and sink of information, where either client or server intrusion software can listen in, collect information, and send it back to the sender. Second example, between communication channels by tapping into the communication channels and then listening in. The fourth one is information matching. Information matching or data matching, as it is often called, involves the comparison of one set of records with another, generally to find records in both sets of data that can relate to the same person. An example is the comparison of lists of students enrolled at educational institutions with MSD Study Link to confirm their entitlement to student allowances and loans. With some programs, it is the absence of the person in one set of records that is of interest. For example, when the list of people obtaining a driver license is compared to the electoral roll, so the electoral commission can invite people who are not on the electoral roll to get an it. So these are the ways we give out our information. First, rewards and loyalty programs. Many people don't think twice before signing up for loyalty or rewards programs that offer points, discounts, and prizes. Loyalty programs are a great way to earn freebies, frequent flyer miles, or deals on products that customers will buy anyway. It is good for businesses too, as rewards programs encourage customers to make shopping at their store or websites more a priority or even a habit. Reward cards not only have your name, address, and telephone number, but are frequently linked to partial credit and debit card information as well. Identify thieves use this information and combine it with other pieces of your information from other sources. With all these pieces, criminals can easily create a synthetic identity and go to a crime spree. The second one is body scanner. The primary reason why whole body scanners are said to breach privacy is because of the invasive nature of the image produced, which can be detailed enough to show genitalia of the person being scanned. Third one is digital video recorder. Fourth is automobile or black boxes, enhanced 911 service, RFIDs, implanted chips, cookies, biometrics, and spyware. All of these are the ways we give out our information.
So good day, my name is Alec Torres. I will be tackling all about, first of all, privacy protection and civil liberties. So the most accepted set of civil liberties are, first of all, criminal justice, which is enforced by the power of the law enforcement agencies and to withhold the liberty of a person and their right to fair treatment. So in terms of liberty, our basic freedoms are the freedom of speech. We have the freedom of speech, the freedom of assembly. Freedom of speech is the freedom to speak out what you are thinking, which then ties over to freedom of assembly, which means you can go together with like-minded individuals to practice your freedom of speech and form a group. And freedom of association is freedom to join a organization of which you have the same opinions as. Next is the freedom of movement, which is the freedom of you going with wherever you please with minimal restrictions or with no restrictions at all. And lastly is the no discrimination, which means you can practice whatever you want to practice without having the repercussions or backlash due to what you believe. Another freedom of us is freedom of information, which is you cannot regulate what someone wants to know or needs to know. So this is the books that sometimes people ban that is against the freedom of information. Next of all is communications and privacy. Communications and privacy is first of all, communication is us talking with each other. Like what I am doing right now, I am expressing and communicating the slide to you. And privacy is whether that communication can be monitored or not by outside forces or organizations. Like for example, I am talking to you, but other people can also hear me talking to you. Like for example, the owners of the application or possibly even the government. So going on over to the 13th slide, which is all about privacy protection and civil liberties. First is the safeguards. The safeguards is the preactive measures we have to for protection of our data. First is technical, which is the use of software and technical safeguards such as hard drives with software lock or antivirus software, which prevents the malware from accessing the files on your computer and possibly breaching your privacy. Another is contractual, which is contacts and special information and publications. Must have actions and enforcement to be effective. Contractual is basically the organization that handles your device or your credentials, such as banks, which have your data and your account to an online wallet or cryptocurrency. So another measure is laws. There are actually laws again that enforce protection and are against the breach of data. Enforcement of these laws are often enacted, as you can see with the people who are getting arrested over online scams. That is all for our presentation.